Thank you. Hello, everybody. There are many similarities to the presentation that Brian shown before. So our company and his company are similar in many ways. He said that they bootstrapped the company since the beginning, and that was the same situation for us. The main difference is that we didn't get 40 million, 70 million US dollars. In our case, it was a bit different because even though we were working at eBay, I was working at eBay. The other co-founder used to be the general manager of eBay. Back then, in 2005, we didn't find any money. So I wanted to show you our story, and what is really important is not only to get money on board, but also the way you spend it. Let's say many similarities between eBay and real estate online classifieds, that both are marketplaces. And in a marketplace, what really important is supply, demand, and if they meet, you will have transactions and leads. Supply means number of listings and number of advertisers, and demand means site and website and mobile usage. If they meet, you will get revenues and EBITDA. So we are the leading site in Italy. I will show you the story. But in all these metrics, so in number of listings, number of advertisers, revenues, we are a profitable company, like 33%. And our competitors is break-even. And site usage, we have like twice as much our competitors. And mobile usage is like we are 5-6 times bigger than them. So, brief story. Our competitors started back then in 1996, so 10 years in advance. And since we didn't have any money, I came up with a bad idea, which was calling our site Area Casa, and because we didn't have the money to buy a good domain. And after 1 year after we launched the site, we were getting already some traction. But then what happens that one day you wake up in the morning and you learn that the biggest online real estate company in the world bought your competitor. Believe me, it's not good news. These guys are knowledgeable, passionate, a lot of money, they know what to do. So you have a problem. And so what happened? We changed the brand from Area Casa to Immobiliare. Immobiliare means real estate in Italian. And this is what happened. So back from our revenues were like very close to zero. And we have grown steadily. And you can see that there's no big difference between us and them. The first 2 years, 2-3 years, we took to get them. And for some years, we were co-leader. And now we are creating a gap. So in terms of revenues, we are, in the last semester, the first semester, 2014, we are 50% bigger in terms of revenues. But this is just a part of the story. The other part of the story I want to show you is how much money they spent. They spent 30 million more than us, which is 50% more than us, which can be high, can be low. The point is that if you have 100 million and you spend 30 million more, it's not so much. But if you spend, in relative terms, they used to spend 3 times more than us. So it's not easy to compete with a competitor that has 3 times the money you have for a long period of time. So only after 7 years, this semester, we have spent the same amount of money they are spending. So the point is that when you are in this situation, you need to count every euro. Each euro counts. It's really important. If you look at the cost driver in our company and similar companies, 50% of our budget, our costs are in marketing. 10% in product and technology, and 35% is in people. So what I want to share with you is the way you should do things in an efficient way and not in an efficient way. Cost efficient in marketing, you need to manage the marketing budget internally. Because even though you're making mistakes, you learn from these mistakes. If this budget is owned and is managed externally, then you're not learning. And this is a huge part of your growth. Another point, really important, is that you need to be sure that you are targeting right KPIs. If the company is not going in the right direction, then you are investing your money not in a proper way. So you are wasting a huge part of the money you are investing. So you need to understand what are the right KPIs. And you need to balance performance deals and brand deals. Of course, when you don't have money, the most important thing is that you need to make the wheel rolling. So you need to be sure that the performance are working. And so you need to invest mainly all the money you have in performance deals. Over time, if you are good, then you start building the brand because it's really important, and you are less dependent on advertising you are making every day. Not the effective way is to basically doing the opposite. So have your budget managed externally, not define the right KPI. So for example, in our case, in a real estate site, the most important KPI is the number of leads we are generating to agencies. So we track the number of agencies, the number of leads, and compare to the number of ads they have online. So we need to be sure that each month we are providing them a good service. If we are bringing more ads on the site, then you need to bring more leads. Otherwise, your service is going down, so you cannot ask more money. So this is only internally. But if you want to compare your site versus another one, you shouldn't use like unique visitors, but you need to use the metric which is closest to leads, which is time spent on the site. Overspending in performance deal, on brand deal, it's something that you don't want to do because you're wasting your money. So for example, in our case, we started TV advertising only 7-8 years after we launched the site, because we were in a point where we couldn't invest more money online in an effective way. And so we decided that the extra money we would have invested in brand creation. People, you want to grant stock option only to some people that will understand what the value you are giving them, and also because they will stay on the longer term. In some cases, you don't want to give this kind of stock option because they are worthless. At the same time, on the other side, you don't want to give like high salaries without being attached to performance, because then people will lay down and say, okay, I have a good salary, I have a car, and well, that's it. You need to build quality work environment because people have to perceive and think that they are working in a good environment, they are improving their career, they are learning things, they will enjoy what they do, and they are not coming to your company because they are just earning money. And you need to reward people not only on a short-time vision, but also on the long-term vision. This is very important, very difficult in some cases when you have a company which is listed in the stock exchange, because of course then you have quarterly reviews. So in many cases it's like it's kind of difficult to put a focus on the long term, but it's really important. Not effective. The point is that, as I said, what you don't want to do, you don't want to buy people. You want to convince people based on how much money I'm giving you. It's just money is just a part of the satisfaction. Technology. Over time, you want to insource and make instead of buy or outsource. For example, a very fashionable way to do things right now in many companies is to outsource the creation of mobile apps. There's a bunch of companies creating mobile apps, and this is really, really wrong. Why? Not only because you are wasting money, but especially because you are not creating the right know-how within the company. It's really something you shouldn't do. Another point is that you want to use open source and free software instead of closed source proprietary software. Not only because you are saving money, but also because you are creating a know-how that is going to be important for the future. And as a consequence, if you are using open source, you need to optimize all the things all the time because it's part of having an open source software. The other approach is just to buy software, to buy hardware. I don't have space. I'm not going to optimize. I buy another server. We are looking at some companies, and we ended up looking at a company. They had the same amount of servers we have, 150. And when we asked, okay, guys, what these software are doing, they said, okay, I know that 20 servers are doing this, and the other 100 they don't know. They didn't know. So as I said, we launched our own application for iPhone because iPad wasn't launched yet in 2009. But more importantly, we have done internally, starting developing the team and building and learning how to do it. Same for service. And so we started our own platform in 2007. And the approach has been the same in the last 7 years. We just add software, hardware, but in a way that we couldn't in a way that, I mean, without any big change. So what I'm saying is that you need to be sure you are using the money in a proper way. Marketing, you need to be sure that you're investing and evaluate. You need to adapt to internet evolution. Because something that is working today, maybe tomorrow is not working. So you don't want to outbid the competition to buy other deals, and you don't want to have a proper after-investment evaluation. In people, you want to hire grow talents rather than buying people. And in technology, you want to develop cutting-edge feature and invest for the future rather than buy technology and solution without fine-tuning. So the point is that, I mean, money is really important, but probably even more important is the way you are going to use it, so make your money count. OK, finish. Thank you very much.
This is the last slide? OK. Sorry.